Today I have a question from Tayel from Dominican Republic. Dear Prabhuji, I hope I don't bother you. I remember that in the Hatha Yoga classes imparted by Shivadas, he recommended not to focus on the pain or discomfort of the posture. At that time, with a sore back, I tried to apply it. However, one day I decided to explore the opposite path, using pain as an object of concentration. I found it very effective. It is difficult not to be attentive to it. Curiously, when the concentration is stable and somehow deep, pain and muscle contractions seem to disappear, at least in the moments when I am sitting still in one of those postures that I call meditative. I do not know the reasons for this. Could it be some physiological mechanism, relaxation, body forgetfulness? The fact is that the pain disappears. I find this interesting, and I wonder what will happen if I take this to other dimensions. What if I take my concentration or attention to more subtle aspects? Could they disappear as well? Does attention make disappear whatever it focuses on? Tayel, first of all, you need to understand the difference between pain and suffering. They seem or look similar, but they belong to different levels of our existence. Pain is physical suffering, and suffering is mental, emotional pain. The nature of pain is physical, and the suffering is much more deep. You can experience pain without suffering, and you can suffer a lot without any physical pain. And this contact us with a very ancient scripture, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. This scripture, it is very special scripture because contain the first teachings of the Buddha after he was under the Bodhi tree and enlightenment happens. In this sutta, he talks about the fourth noble truth. Let's hear a little about it. The name Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta means setting the wheel of Dhamma in motion. Now this, bhikkhus, is the noble truth of suffering. Birth is suffering. Aging is suffering. Illness is suffering. Death is suffering. Union with what is displeasing is suffering. Separation from what is pleasing is suffering. Not to get what one wants is suffering. In brief, the 5 aggregated subject to clinging are suffering. Now this, because is the noble truth of the origin of suffering. It is this craving, thirst, which leads to re-becoming, incarnation, accompanied by delight and lust, seeking delight here and there, that is craving for sensual pleasures, craving for becoming, craving for disbecoming. Now this, because is the noble truth of the cessation of suffering, is the reminderless fading away and cessation of that same craving, the giving up and relinquishing of it, freedom from it, non-reliance on it. Now this, because is the noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. It is this noble eightfold path, that is right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So according to the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, you can resume all these teachings in the 4 noble truths of the Buddha. Buddha was only now sitting under the Buddha tree. Only now Buddha come from being somebody to be nobody, only a presence. And the first teachings he has can be resumed in 4. The first, dukkha, suffering. The realization of the suffering. The second one, samudaya, that means the nature of the suffering. The third noble truth, nirodha, the cessation of suffering. Suffering can be stopped. We can finish with the suffering. It is possible. And then the 4. The 4 magga, the path, the way how to cease suffering. We can talk a lot about suffering. But as I say in the beginning, we should make a distinction between suffering and pain. And I will open to tell you that this world, in this reality, there is no suffering. In the reality that of this moment, in the truth, here and now, there is no suffering. In what is, as it is, there is no suffering. The suffering exists in what is not. What exists is free of suffering. Can be pain, but not suffering. The suffering exists in what is not. When your attention, your curiosity, even your passion is in the present, in the moment, in the reality of the now, there is no suffering. Suffering begin at the moment that you guide your attention, you concentrate, you even become passionate about what is not, how this moment could be, how this moment could be so different. And I begin to create ideas, thoughts, dreams, illusions, imaginations. That is the imposition of the mind on reality. Reality has no suffer, but there is what in Vedanta we call Maya. What is Maya? Is reality plus mind. At the moment you direct your attention to the non-existence, to the dreams, to the could be, you begin to suffer. Then arise desire. Desire is always for something that it is not. Many people ask, what is the problem with the desire? You can enjoy now whatever you want, but when you desire, it's a totally different energy. When you desire, you are dealing with what is not. Obviously, always you desire something that you don't have. Always you want something that is not in the now. So whenever you desire, whenever there is desire, you leave the reality, you reject the now in order to go into your mind thinking about and running after a thought, an idea, a dream, a fantasy, an illusion. And then the suffering. You have a boyfriend, a girlfriend for 20 years. And today he or she decide to leave. If you watch the suitcase, the color, if you look at the dress, the color of the jeans, if you watch how she or he walked to the door, if you pay attention to the sound of the door when it's closed, and then go deep into the experience of the silence, of to be with yourself, no suffering. When you begin to think about the moments that you was in that restaurant with that music, and you begin to think about how you will feel without that person, how will be, and how could be. If then the suffering begin, and as much as you go far away from the present, you suffer more. The suffering is proportional to the distance you go far away from the present moment. And if you pay attention in your life, this reality didn't give you so much suffering. Remember when the first times in your childhood you have to receive a vaccine. The moment of the vaccine, that suffering was pain for some moment. But remember before, when your mother say, next Wednesday we go, and you suffer the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday begin to be more dangerous, like that. And a day before, the night before, the dentist, the suffering is very long. But the real pain is short. It's like Pablo Neruda says, so short the love and so long the forgetful. It's like that. So short the pain, but so long the suffering. Yes. So that is what in Vedanta they call raga and dvesha, the rejection of reality and looking after better couple, better house, better car, better food, to improve the present, to improve your reality, always looking for problems and looking for something better. How to go beyond this? Through chains. One pull you into the rejection of the present moment to improve it. The rejection of the now, the rejection of reality, the rejection of the truth. And the other always looking after a thought, an idea, looking after imagination, after an illusion. And what is the way out of this? What is the way to go out from this reject and running after? Rejection and attraction. There is other direction. The only direction, it is very simple, is to direct your attention to the present, to the nostrils, and to experience the breathing with every inhalation and exhalation. Every inhalation, every exhalation. If you experience pain or happiness or whatever you experience, even as you, Tayel, say in an asana, there is a pain. If you begin to think about, when I am in my bed resting or in my sofa seeing TV, you will suffer. Then will be only pain, will be suffering. Now I am in cobra, I cannot move. And my hands, I hope will liberate. Because when I sit in my sofa, it's so pleasant. You will suffer. You deal with what is not. And what is not causes always suffering. If you concentrate in your body, put the attention on your body, in the asana, in what you do. When it's painful, when it's relaxation, you become totally aware. And in awareness, the attention, consciousness, meet with itself, meet with reality, rest the attention. Don't even put, that can be aggressive. Send the attention to rest in the present moment. Then you will feel such a joy, such a peace, and no suffering.